Here are the learning progressions for the MAISA 10th grade literary essay unit. Notice their alignment. Now, read down the 10th grade column. What do you notice? Take a moment to pause, read, and think. Notice the breakdown into reading, writing, and revising. Notice the verbs and how they get to the complexity of the activity. Also, notice that the emphasis of this unit is on developing a claim or line of reasoning. Think now about your students' abilities relative to the complexity of the tasks. If doing something like this with current students, where might they need extra support? Pause for a second and think. What does your reading across grade levels suggest to you about what students might come to 10th grade with already having experienced, been taught, and possibly learned, and what might need to be supported? I might notice that students could have already spent time making connections across shorter texts in 9th grade. I might now be thinking about how to extend these connections across longer single 10th grade texts. Also, what might students be needing moving into 11th grade and beyond? Notice that students will increasingly be asked to make connections and claims across multiple texts and genres. I would then think at that point about how my work with them on longer single 10th grade texts could anticipate being extended moving into 11th grade when they will encounter more complex texts and genres and be asked to make connections across them. These progressions and alignment can be a helpful starting point to provide context for where you'll be going with students. In fact, these units were designed to help facilitate backward design like we discussed in Topic 1. And remember, they're just a starting point, since curriculum documents are no replacement for your own assessment knowledge. As you might have experienced, just because it says that students were supposed to learn X skill the previous year, that may not be the case for a variety of reasons. It can oftentimes be helpful to do some sort of pre-assessment before moving into a unit, getting a sense of where students are in relation to the core learning they'll be moving into. Next, we want you to consider the overall alignment of the curriculum you're currently working with by asking a series of questions. We know some of you may not be working with MAISA units and might be discovering that these documents don't exist for you at this point. Still, learning progressions and alignment are an essential foundation for your successful work with students, and we'd suggest talking with your department chair, mentor, and/or colleagues about where to find these documents. If you're not able to find them or your units are structured differently, you can still ask the following questions to help you consider learning progressions and alignments no matter the form of your curriculum. What do I know about where this unit fits within my year of instruction? What reading and writing work have students done this year that will facilitate their entree into this work? What work will follow it this year? What will following units in my year require certain skills are cemented, or will they allow for further instruction and spiraling back to deepen skill development? What do I know about instruction and content in previous and subsequent years? What learning, skills, and content can I assume students will have in place? Which skills will they likely need some further instruction in? And what learning do I want to be sure students have in place leaving this unit versus skills that they'll get to return to and practice further in future years?